Historical events that seem impossible today. Hey everyone. Welcome back to the channel. Today we're diving into some absolutely wild historical events that would make our modern minds explode. These aren't just strange footnotes, these were actually considered normal at the time. Before we get started, make sure to hit that subscribe button and notification bell so you don't miss our weekly dive into history's most fascinating stories. Alright, let's travel back in time to discover historical events that seem completely impossible today. Event 1. Medicinal mercury. For thousands of years, mercury was considered a miracle cure. Yes, mercury, the highly toxic liquid metal that we now know causes brain damage, kidney failure, and death. Ancient Chinese emperors took mercury pills in hopes of achieving immortality. Spoiler alert, it killed them instead. Talk about counterproductive. In the 16th century, European doctors prescribed mercury to treat everything from syphilis to constipation. The treatment involved either drinking mercury directly or sitting in a mercury steam bath until you started drooling uncontrollably, which they thought was the disease leaving your body. In reality, it was just your nervous system shutting down. Oops. Even Abraham Lincoln took blue mass pills containing mercury before becoming president. Some historians believe his famous mood swings might have been symptoms of mercury poisoning. Imagine a world leader today announcing, "My secret to success? Toxic metal supplements." I guess we shouldn't judge too harshly. In 200 years, people might be laughing at our charcoal detox drinks and jade eggs. Event 2. Children chimney sweeps. In Victorian England, children as young as 4 were sent to work as chimney sweeps. Their small size made them perfect for squeezing into narrow, soot-filled chimneys that adults couldn't fit into. These kids would climb up hot chimneys with metal scrapers, often getting stuck, suffocating, or even cooking alive if a fire was lit below them by mistake. Many developed chimney sweeps cancer from prolonged exposure to soot and died before reaching adulthood. The worst part? Parents would actually sell their children to master sweeps, who would then train these kids by lighting fires beneath them to motivate faster climbing. Nothing says employee motivation like burning someone's feet. When Parliament finally tried banning child chimney sweeps in 1788, many homeowners protested, arguing that their freedom to have clean chimneys was being infringed upon, because apparently human rights were less important than a soot-free living room. Today's helicopter parents won't even let their kids walk to school alone, let alone climb inside a burning chimney for minimum wage. Event 3. Radioactive consumer products. In the early 20th century, radioactivity was the hot new trend, literally. After the discovery of radium, companies rushed to put this glowing substance in everything. The Radium Dial Company employed young women to paint watch dials with radioactive paint. The women were instructed to lick their brushes to create a finer point, effectively eating radioactive material all day long. Many later developed horrific cancers and jaw deterioration known as radium jaw. But wait, there's more. You could buy radioactive drinking water, radioactive chocolate, radioactive toothpaste, all promising to energize your body with the power of radiation. The Radiendocrinator was a radioactive pad men could wear near their vital organs to increase virility. Because nothing says reproductive health like irradiating your family jewels. There were even radioactive face creams promising a healthy glow. Well, they weren't wrong about the glowing part. I guess may cause your face to fall off wasn't required on product labels back then. Event 4. Surgery before anesthesia. Before the 1840s, surgery was performed without anesthesia. Surgeons literally strapped you down and started cutting while you were fully conscious. The best pain management? A slug of whiskey and a piece of leather to bite down on. Speed was everything. The renowned surgeon Robert Liston could amputate a leg in under 30 seconds. During one particularly hasty operation, he accidentally cut off his assistant's fingers, slashed a spectator's coat. The spectator died of shock thinking he'd been stabbed, and somehow managed to amputate the patient's testicles along with his leg. That's a hat trick of medical malpractice. Hospitals had waiting rooms where people could hear the screams of previous patients. Surgeons were chosen based on speed rather than precision, and they rarely washed their hands or instruments between procedures. Today we expect anesthesia when getting a tooth filled. Back then, they'd remove your entire jaw while you watched. Event 5. Lobotomies as standard treatment. In the mid-20th century, if you were depressed, anxious, or just difficult, doctors might recommend severing connections in your brain's frontal lobe. The standard procedure. Insert an ice pick through the eye socket and wiggle it around. I'm not joking, this was literally how it was done. American psychiatrist Walter Freeman performed over 3,500 lobotomies, many in public demonstrations to show how easy it was. He drove around the country in his lobotomobile, performing ice pick lobotomies. In psychiatric hospitals, no surgical training required. One of Freeman's most famous patients was Rosemary Kennedy, sister of JFK, who was lobotomized at age 23 for being difficult. The procedure left her with the mental capacity of a 2-year-old child, the worst part. Freeman himself admitted that lobotomies created infantile personalities, but argued this made patients easier to manage. The procedure earned its inventor a Nobel Prize in Medicine in 1949. Today we recognize this as barbaric. We prefer to numb ourselves with endless social media scrolling instead. Event 6. Human zoos. From the late 1800s until shockingly recently, human zoos were popular attractions where indigenous people from colonized lands were displayed in mock villages for white audiences to gawk at. The 1904 St. Louis World's Fair featured Filipino tribespeople who were made to perform savage rituals. The 1906 Bronx Zoo exhibited a Congolese man named Otabenga in the monkey house. When black clergymen protested, the New York Times responded that he was probably enjoying himself as much as he could anywhere else. Even more disturbing, the last human zoo exhibition wasn't in some distant past. The Brussels World Fair featured a Congolese village with people on display as late as 1958. That is the same year NASA was founded and Elvis was topping the charts. Somehow we went from human zoos to Tiger King in just a few generations. I'm not sure that's progress. The conclusion is. So what can we learn from these historical horrors? First, never assume that what's normal today will always be considered acceptable. Second, progress isn't linear. Things we find unthinkable now were once everyday practices. What common practices of today will future generations look back on with horror? Maybe factory farming? Our addiction to fossil fuels? The fact that we had social media influencers? Who knows? If you enjoyed this trip through history's most impossible moments, make sure to like this video and hit subscribe for more historical deep dives. Leave a comment with which of these historical events shocked you the most, or what modern practices you think future generations will find horrifying. Until next time, remember, history isn't just about the past. It's a mirror that shows us who we are today. Thanks for watching. This episode was brought to you by absolutely nothing, because historical events is free, folks. Until next time, keep questioning the past and stay curious about the weird side of history. Please like the video at History Motion Machine.